Here's the Candy Shop Show. This is Candy Carroll, broadcasting from the beautiful Ozarks in the central USA. We've got a great guest speaker from Canada this evening, and I think you're going to really enjoy it. You might want to be taking some notes as well. So let's get started. This is June 9th, 2016. The Candy Shop shows have been going on this format with the Diamond Network for over a year now, and we're quite pleased with those who call in live with their great questions and those who listen later on YouTube. Let's see, a few announcements to get started. If you want to contact me, Candy, I'm Candy Carroll, Carroll, on Facebook, and I set up a Facebook event for this evening, and I welcome you guys to friend me. Okay, we're going to jump into the candy jar treat. So it's gorgeous here. We've been blessed with some fine sunny weather and plenty of rain. It's a shame that in other places there's too much rain. We quoted Ben Davidson's report that there would be some issues with solar flaring this last weekend, which there certainly was. I noticed that in some places I couldn't use debit cards and different things were being funny. But listen, of course, the biggest thing today is that the glass ceiling, one of my fellow members of the female gender, won the California primary, and so Hillary Clinton is the presumptive head candidate of the Democratic Party. It's a nice glass ceiling to break. My mother broke a lot of glass ceilings. I broke a lot of glass ceilings, and this is great that this one has been broken. Would have preferred to have had a different one of my female heroes up there, but it happened. And so now we presumably have Trump versus Clinton, although on these shows you know that the Galactics have predicted that other things are going to be happening. And for my new listeners, a prediction and remark by one of our Galactics a few months ago was that Trump indeed did win the presidency and was a very good president, but in a different timeline, not our timeline. At that time, the Galactics were predicting there would not be an election in our timeline in 2016. So we shall see. I'm curious if the Galactics are sticking with that prediction, because things do change. So Benjamin Fulford is saying a lot of interesting things about the money situation, and I can see that prices in Walmart and many places, prices of things are just skyrocketing, and this follows along some of the predictions about the dollar being devalued and the BRICS replacing the dollar, and that the petrodollar was destroyed recently because of the Saudi Arabia backing ISIS and these other things. So, I wanted to buy a piece of plastic to fit over my window of my fifth wheeler. It's a piece of plastic, 17 by 24 inches. 1 6 by 8 inches costs $15. But today I try to buy this other plastic, and it's $100. I just can't. The prices of food and materials, supplies are just really climbing up, and of course that means that at some point there could be some shortages. But we want to look on the bright side of things here on the Diamond Network, as we know that the Galactics have a plan, and if there are some shortages, we are assured that it will be a very short period of time like that. Well, I hope you folks are doing your meditating, and I certainly do my morning meditations the Anastasia way. Well, I want to end the candy jar treats pretty quickly this evening to get on to our great speaker, and also we'll be need to announce that Christopher Stephen Jacobs, our regular bilocator with the Raw Tribe and the others that are helping us, will not be able, regretfully, he says, to be with us next Wednesday, but we are anticipating a great substitute. Chris will be able to have some time on this Saturday to do a special edition candy shop show with Elizabeth Diamond, and anyone who wants to call into this line this Saturday at 12 noon Central Time and help us with the show with Chris, that would be great, because otherwise he won't be back until June 27th. And I begged him to do something before the summer solstice, and so this is the time he came up with. So mark your calendars, folks, noon this Saturday. Okay, I'm putting the lid back on the candy jar treat, and thank you for your attention. Please keep your eye on things, especially what's coming out of Asia, the news out of Asia, and I think it's very interesting. Okay, well, listen, I want us to take a moment to reaffirm our acceptance of the law of one. I would like everyone to just get calm and breathe deep, and I want to invite Sunny Holmes from California to lead us in the law of one, to say it while we send energy to her. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Candy. Happy to do this, and may all our prayers for the greater good of all in every realm of our life be honored and answered in the political scene, although we know how it's rigged. May everything turn out for the greater good of all in this upcoming year, that things will turn around and the people will really be served by the governments, if the government still exists. Okay, with all that in our minds and hearts, I will invoke the law of one. We are all one. When one is harmed, all are harmed. When one is helped, all are helped. Therefore, in the name of who I am, and I am one with all there is, I ask that only that which serves the highest good of all concerned happen here and now, and throughout all time and space I give thanks that this be done, and so it is.
And so be it. Thank you so much, Sunny.
You're quite welcome. Pleasure.
Thank you. Now, Sunny hosts our Tuesday night Diamond Network shows. Of course, we have them Monday through Thursday, and her show from last night will be up on YouTube fairly quickly. Remember, the YouTube channel is Diamonds Forever channel, and those spaces between those three words, and just for those of you who wish to tell folks about how to find tonight's show next week, that's it, Diamonds Forever channel. Okay, we have a fascinating speaker from Canada. He has been studying and healing for many, many years, and recently been awakened by the Pleiadians to his role. And I think he's going to tell us a story about the 12 crystal skulls that Christopher Stephen Jacobs talks about. And I would like to welcome Mark Sorensen.
Well, thank you, Candy, and welcome, everybody. Hello, how are you tonight?
We are just fine.
Good. Well, I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to share my experiences and my stories and about the crystal skulls and more. So where would you like me to begin tonight?
Well, I think your vision with the crystal skulls would be a great place.
Okay, so back to the awakening, shall we say. Okay, so we're going back to March 2007, and I'm having a relaxing evening in my hot tub. And all of a sudden, like a vivid image beside me, there's the earth seems to appear, and there was 12 crystal skulls around the outside of this vision that I was seeing, kind of hovering around the planet, and then there was another one on top. And what I could tell at the time, it looked like a light beam was coming down to the one on the top, and then it spread out like a pinwheel to all 12 skulls around the planet. And then the energy kind of burst into the center. And what I could see was the planet was expanding, and there was fissions of light coming through the surface of the planet, and all of a sudden it just exploded in a beautiful array. Not so much exploded, but the light just came shining out through these fissures, and the whole thing just lit right up in the room. And I'm going, wow, what is that? Because first off, I never saw or heard of a crystal skull before, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm taking this all in, and I'm going, what's going on? And no sooner did I say that, and there was this light form in the end of the hallway, and it was speaking to me telepathically, and it said, I have come here to awaken you. It is time for you to come forward. And the funny thing was, Candy, is that this voice said to me, you're behind schedule 2 years. And I'm going, yeah, right, okay. So I'm behind schedule 2 years from what? So this is all very new and interesting to me at this point in time, as you can see, right? And so I'm wondering, what does it mean? What does
this all... start in 2005, but you started in 2007.
Exactly. And of course, hindsight is 20/20, and I can tell you the exact moment I was supposed to start in 2005, and it didn't happen because there was an interference that prevented me from meeting a certain person when I was on a conference in Panama. But I'm not going to go there right now. I'm just going to go on with this. So I went to bed that night and just kind of blew it off and not thinking any more about it because I wasn't really into crystal skulls or this light stuff at this point in time. So I wake up, I bolt up out of my bed at 4 o'clock in the morning, just sit straight upright. And there's like something, I felt something, there was something in my room. I wasn't sure what it was. And I shook it off, and I said, okay, we'll just let this settle down. I must be nervous or something's going on, I don't know. And I drifted off to sleep again. Well, the next day I was off to work. I was working on a house. I do building for my main work here in this wonderful world of ours. And I was going to go and meet a friend that night after work, but it was getting late. It was getting on to about 8:30, and I'm thinking, I'm just going to drive by his house and not bother stop in and go home. So, believe it or not, there I am. I'm going by his house, and I hear a voice saying, stop, go in. And I'm just going, I'm shaking it off. And I'm driving further, and it says, stop, go in. And I'm going, no, I'm too tired, I got to go. And I'm driving a little bit, just getting past the house, and it goes, stop, now. I go, whoa, I better go in. So I did. So I turned back, went in the house, and there was my friend, and his mother was there. And I knew she was going to be there, but the interesting thing is I didn't know that she had been in an accident 13 years ago. She rolled her van in the wintertime in the snowbank. She busted her legs and her arms and hit her forehead on the dash and caused some great trauma, and she's been in a home for 13 years, and this is really the first time that she was visiting the son. And so I go up to her and I says, "Hi, do you remember me?" Because I remembered her from years gone by. And she looks at me and she just smiles and she says, "Oh, yes, I know who you are." And I said, "Great. And how are you tonight?" And then she just lit right up and she says, "And I knew you were coming." And I'm thinking to myself, how did you know I was coming? Because I never said anything. And she said, "An angel came to me last night at 4 o'clock in the morning and told me that you were going to come and that you could help me and heal me." And it just dawned on me in that moment, wow, 4 o'clock, that's when I lurched out of bed, stood up straight. I could actually feel that presence. And so this intrigued me. It really did. Needless to say, she also added to that after you've healed me, I'm supposed to introduce you to 2 people. So long of it short, I did a healing session on her. We got rid of her trauma around her chest. We restored her balance and restored part of her memory in 3 different sessions. And then after we were done, she called me up a couple of days later and said, "Okay, the angel came to me again and said, now I can introduce you to these 2 people." And so you can only imagine my apprehension at that point in time, Kenya. I'm thinking, okay, so who are these people she's going to introduce me to, right?
Right.
And so she takes me to this home. It's a nice little country home, and there's this couple comes out, and they're in their 60s, and a very quaint couple. The woman, she's fairly tall. She's got long, straight hair, and a kind of like, I don't like to say it, but a Broomhilda kind of look, a little round, roly-poly belly, and just laughing and smiling. Her eyes are all lit up. And her husband is kind of like Santa Claus without a belly. He's got the white hair and the white beard thing happening. And so we come to the house, we go inside, and what does this woman do? She puts her arms around me. She gives me a great big hug, and she says, "Wow, there you are, Ptah. We've been looking all over for you." And I'm thinking, okay, who are these people and who is this Ptah fellow you're talking about? Okay? And she says, "Well, come on in." They invited me in. And she proceeded to explain to me that we came from the stars, we came from the Pleiades, and that she was my celestial sister, and that this gentleman, in fact, was her husband. And we came together, and we came on a spaceship with this one called Ptah and Mother. And I'm going, wow, this is just too much for me to take at this time. It's overwhelming because I've never ever dealt with the spiritual world before. I never really got involved with anything extraterrestrial or off-planet. And so I'm just kind of going along with this, and I'm just listening, and sitting back. And so she says, "Ptah wishes to speak to you." And so she starts speaking to me in this language, which she explained to me later was the Pleiadian language of light. And then, of course, she translated it for me. And what it was, basically, it was Ptah was welcoming me, saying that they have been looking for me for a long time, and they're very grateful that now I have come forward. And so it was from there that the lessons began. From there, where I learned about the energy and Ptah and the family and frequencies and all kinds of different things, ancient Egypt, ancient Atlantis, ancient Lemuria, which I was a part of, and a very instrumental part, in fact, too. And so, it's been quite a journey since then.
It sounds like it, Mark. So,
no?
You're Ptah, and you were talking with Ptah?
Exactly. So, the interesting thing is these are all frequencies, right? All these beings are all consciousness and frequencies, and so that's what we are on all different levels, our higher selves and our higher selves, and we just keep on rising higher and higher through the dimensions. And so it's kind of like I'm rising through these different frequencies. I come here with the frequency of Mark, and then the frequency of Ptah has always been inside of me since birth. It just hasn't come forward until that point in time where I was awakened. And
well,
so,
absolutely. Oh, go ahead.
And so this whole time, I've been going through as Ptah. I've been learning the language of light. I've been traveling around the planet, invoking different codes to trigger and activate different activities. And I can share a couple with you, but one in mind I'm going to share, which I'm being called to, is a trip down to Tulum, New Mexico. And this trip was done in, I'm thinking September, fall equinox 2009, all right? And so I go down there with 12 people. And I have to give you a little bit of background on these 12 people here, Candy, is that these 12 people, after I have awakened within a year, were attracted to me. They were drawn to me. I found them somehow, okay? No coincidence. You know there's no coincidences out there, right? The world is just absolutely amazing the way things work. And so within a year, all these 12 people from all over North America came forward, and because I do this work, I do this quantum holographic programming, I do past life regressions, and I can even take people back to their home planet where they come from. Some very interesting work. And so I worked with all these people, I did readings on them, and I had found out that each one of them had been part of the original Atlantean Council of 12 that were overseeing the crystals in that timeline. Okay, so I don't know how much you or your audience know about the Atlantean crystals or that timeline. However, these are the 12 people who had come to me, who had been drawn to me, and here we are. A couple of years later, we're all going down to Mexico, to Tulum, to the pyramids, because we have been given
that is wonderful. And yes, we are very familiar with this because Christopher Jacobs is from ancient Lemuria and had a big role in activities there on Atlantis. And you're talking about people being drawn. That's what I see as everybody that is on here live with us on the show has been drawn together. I myself have had 7,000 past life experiences. And so you're just reinforcing and all that we've been talking about, and we've been on the fast track learning these things in the last 18 months as the new energies that came in the winter of 2012. So yes, we want to hear more about 2009 experience. Tell us.
Okay. All right, so 2009. So there we are. There's 12 of us, and myself is 13, because I was the one who was overseeing the Council of Atlantis. And so we're guided. We're given symbols before we go down there. We each have our own symbols, and we're going down there. We're not quite sure what the purpose is, but we know we have to go down there and activate something, right?
Yes.
And so we get down there, and we kind of get a feel for the place, and we walk around the pyramid, and we kind of find a position where we feel we're supposed to be, and really we're being guided, right? And then when we get down there, then I invoke the codes of light, and we're all feeling these different energies coming through us and tingling through our bodies, and we can sense this energy moving around. And we're not really quite understanding what is happening in that moment. However, we know something's shifting and something's happening, okay? So later on, after we're finished our session, what we felt was the right amount of time and energy and intention put into being with this pyramid, what we usually do is every evening we would gather together and go into a meditative state. And it was through this meditative state that our guides would come through. And Ptah was the one who came through as well, and he had told us that what we have done was we have invoked the frequencies for the language of light to return back to Earth through the Tulum pyramid, because there was a blue sapphire crystal underneath the pyramid in Tulum, which apparently I was told I was the one who put there when it was built originally. And it was within 2 weeks' time that all of us were speaking this language, the language of light, the Pleiadian language. Very interesting, just spontaneously coming forward. And so that was a very interesting experience in on its own, just to feel that. The one interesting thing I'd like to point out is that what Ptah had went on to tell us is that this frequency, this language of light frequency, had not been on the earth since ancient Babylon. And that was what the destruction of Babylon was about, was destroying this language. This is why all the different languages came about back in ancient Babylon, if you recall, the ancient texts and so on. And so what we had done then was, from that time until now, been without that frequency, and then that was brought forth to earth to be used once again for creation and manifestation. And so as a result of that, there was a lot of other things that we were able to begin to do to assist Mother Earth for her ascension and to assist humanity for their ascension as well. So quite an interesting time, I must say that was.
It was, and you set the stage for what happened in 2012, and the special healing ceremonies that our Diamond Network participated in May of 2015. So,
right.
So we'd like to hear a little bit of the language, but we'd like to ask if any of the. Now we understand in the Diamond Network that there were 21 other races besides the Pleiadians who donated DNA to create humankind, and but we look more like the Pleiadians than we do the Ra and the elephant people and the others. So would one of the Galactics like to speak through you and share a message directly with Candy and her audience this evening?
Absolutely,
in June 2016, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what I'll do is, because Ptah is with me at all times, I can just switch into this language very easily. Like I can ask you to pass the salt. You know,
okay.
It's just one of those things. So I just want to see where he wants to go at this point in time. Indeed. Okay, so Chiti ta tadono o tukuhunta hayane tanaya he te kianada to yono o tukuhuchi o kuhuchiti ne di yokaya nachto triono o tukunta hayate kiana. Indeed, I am grateful and thankful for coming on board and to be able to express with you this evening. I have been, shall we say, working on many levels. I've been working on many levels with this one called Mark. I've been working on many levels on the one called Ptah, and I have been working on many levels indeed myself. I share with you that indeed I have just recently come to the earth plane once again, for the time is right for this to happen. Chukuntahayane deya tiono otuku, tukuhitahayane deya kayana, bakteriono tukuhuntaha te diikianach tak die kono otuku tu. The time has come right for the frequencies, because the frequencies needed to rise high enough on Gaia so that I may come forward. And the frequencies have been shifted this year. There has been many things that have been done and have occurred through this one called Mark, who has enabled this for this event to occur. If you recall, on the day of April of this past year, April towards the end, there were several craft hovering over the Giza pyramids. Ta drono o tukuhuchiti, tianaya dachto dirono o kuntaha, kuntahaya ta do driono o kutu, o kuhutu unu, kuchi kiti nachtak drayene e ti kiti. And indeed, this was our craft. We came in for craft, and we hovered over the pyramids, sending frequencies and vibrations into the circuitry, as one would imagine the circuit boards on a computer chip. And so we have put the frequencies into these large stone chambers within the centers of these pyramids. And it's through these frequencies that have come forward in order to assist and help activate the other circuit boards that are here on the planet to assist with mankind and humanity. Chiruk nach to tiriono o tukuhunta, to huntuhuta ha na dayane e kitiata, O Triono O Tu Chai Ke Ichi Tata, Da Triono O Kuhunta Nak Dai Kitiata. And it was through this one Mark that the following day he saw the cubes, he saw these boxes, these large stone items within the pyramids, and he spoke codes of light. And it was through these codes of light and the transmission of the language in which allowed me to enter into this earth plane, into this earth body, and now I am here to be with you on this day. Chana ata triono o tukuhuta taktarana etiakia takiahina te no o kurak hayatar. It is my intention and my purpose to assist in the ascension for Gaia and for Mother Earth, as we have come here in the beginning when she called us to come and help her and assist her. And we are here now to assist her to move forward through these dimensions, through the third to the fourth, and then from the fourth to the fifth in the next 5 to 10 years. This is our purpose and our mission. And it is for this I am saying, just for you, purpose and for the purpose of the audience and those who are tuned into this frequency to understand that, yes, we are here to assist, we are here to help, and we are here in love and peace and unity and one with all that is. I am Ptah.
Well,
so there you
thank
go.
you
There's a
and
nice little
welcome.
message.
Yes, thank you and welcome, Ptah. And appreciate the reaffirming of joining in to accept the law of one. So wow, and so Mark, tell us a little more about this vision that you had in April and what you saw inside. You kind of bilocated, I guess, to the pyramids to see inside.
What I do, and this is indeed, Candy, and what I do is very quite simple. I've been doing this from day one, actually, and where it came from, it was just an inner knowing. What I would do is I would see myself inside the Giza pyramid, and there's where I would take my council members or the people I work with or the councils that I'm with, and we would meet within the pyramid, because the pyramid itself is a telepathic and a teleportation station where there is no time, and we can go past, present, future, multidimensional and parallel worlds, and we can work with all the different groups that are out there within the universe, working with the elders of Valira, working with the elders of Sirius, working with the elders of Arcturus, and working with the elders of Earth, and so on. And so this is through this channel, which has been created for us, and this is a peek into the future so that you too. It will be through these temples and through these large-sized Earth circuit boards that the teleportation, telecommunication, telepathic channels will be opened throughout the galaxies and universes for us to connect with our brothers and sisters out there. So it's very exciting times, I have to say.
Oh, it is, and the perfect time, for you to join us here, and we understand that many of those on Earth are entering this process of going into the fifth dimension that it started last September with the fall equinox in 2015, and that we are having vivid dreams, which are really memories of some of our past lives, and that we really do need to remember things, even if they're unpleasant, so that we can accept and forgive situations and entities and be at peace, understanding the truth. And it's a little scary thinking that everybody can read our minds, but we've always known that Santa Claus is watching us and knowing what's in our hearts, and as our Creator does. And so is that what you see, that in the next couple of years or so that humankind will be very, very telepathic with each other and with the galactics?
Well, indeed there is, this is coming down the pipe for sure. I know there are those within our group who are already connecting this way telepathically. And we are working together to move forward to assist humanity rise in frequencies. It's very interesting as well what came forward just before Ptah came to the earth was, again, sometimes things happen by accident. And I'm sure I'm going to bring Michael Tellinger up. You're familiar with him, are you, Candy?
A little bit.
Okay, so Michael Tellinger was running this. He's the one that has come forward with the Adams calendar in South Africa, and he has come forward with the Umbuto movement out of South Africa with helping the people for the government. And he was coming forward with a seminar. He was doing a workshop, and there was a gentleman in his workshop was looking at these pyramidal structures and the columns and the amphitheaters, and he says, "Wow, they look like electronic circuit boards that you would see in a computer, or that you would see in a hard drive, or you would see in a TV or something like that." And so what it has turned out to be is that all these, shall we say, sacred places, pyramids and structures, the Luxor temples, the Ephesus in Turkey, the Acropolis in Greece, all these places are really a resonance chamber for vibration to go through, the change of frequencies, and to work with the energies of Mother Earth and the ley lines. And so they have a lot to do with the connections of the teleportation, of the telecommunications, of the telepathy. And this is what was used in the past when the travel was being done from one part of the planet to another. We'd just be able to go into these channels and frequencies with our intentions and go to another place on the planet. So this is what we're looking down the road into the future to have access to once again. And that's also very exciting times, right?
Absolutely. Mother Earth Mother Earth, Gaia has honored us by coming to the Candy Shop Show and explaining some of the things, that she's doing. Because I understand that it really hurts her skin to have these asphalt concrete roads laid down that, we don't need roads, we don't need cars. We can, like you said, go into these resonance chambers and with our intentions go where we need to go on Earth and not be harmful. And that, yes, she has to create some earthquakes to cleanse and the poisons out and get healed. But on the other hand, the cabal and the dark forces are trying to fight back as they can see they're losing, and that they are actually causing some of the earthquakes too. That they're not all natural. So this is exciting times and how things are moving forward. And I understand that there was a conference in Toronto not last month in May about the crystal skulls and many of these things. Were you at that conference?
Actually, I was. Yes, I was indeed. I was there. I was very close to the front, and the crystal skull was there. Shannon Ra, I believe it was. And there was quite a few people there. It was a very, very beautiful, very well timed, shall we say, conference for bringing information for people and just helping them awaken, and for those who aren't awakened to just see what's out there, what people are doing, where they're going, and to give them some direction and maybe a little bit of help along the path of ascension and awakening. Right?
Right.
So we also have, just so you know, we have our first Canadian alien expose coming up too in Canada here on the 24th of June for 3 days. And so I will be a guest speaker there as well. So it's going to be very interesting.
Where in Canada?
It's going to be in Brantford, Ontario.
Okay.
We're gonna have our ex-Minister of Defense, Paul Hillier, is going to be there, and there's going to be quite a few people who have been abductees who are going to be speaking there as well. And that's going to be very interesting also.
Yes, it will be. Toronto comes up in discussions at times from other speakers here, too. I've enjoyed my visits there. It's interesting that I put up a YouTube about my own spiritual path and how I came to where I am now, and I was led to visit Stonehenge in 1969.
Wow.
In the days, yes, I could go up and actually sit on the stones as they were for tourists. They could do that and meditate there, and then I've had some very pleasant days, more than once in Toronto. Well, and which city are you in Canada?
Well, I'm in Ontario. I'm north of Toronto, a couple hours. I'm in the town of Huntsville, just a small, quaint town on the Canadian Shield. Good, solid ground, rock foundation underneath me. That's where I like to be.
Very good.
Indeed.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, would Ptah like to add some more, and could he speak to us perhaps about what we can be expecting with this summer solstice that is upcoming on June 20th?
Indeed. Okay. Tehina ha chakto to tiono o tukuhunta hayada dene e ki takto taite kita tae ki ita ha ta tiono o tuhuntu huyana tuhuyana ta tae ki ichi tinakto tiono o tukuhunta hayane. Indeed, the summer solstice coming up this year is going to bring energy waves through to the earth. These energy waves are as a wave 2 coming through to assist in raising the vibrations and frequencies of humanity. The frequencies of Mother Earth and Gaia have risen already, and she is prepared and ready to ascend. This is true. Chakdaktrono o tukuhunta hayadei kiana da duyuno o tukuhunta ha. Tuhuntuhutahana a daiki ichi ka e ichi ti taktroyono o tukutahana. Yes, indeed, and so as the masses of the humanity are making their decisions through their higher selves, their higher beings, their soul sparks on to move forward, to take the plunge, to ascend, to rise up with the Mother. As they rise up, so shall all the other sentient beings on the planet. It is time to move forward as we are rising up and into the summer. Frequencies will become very strong and sharp as we come and get ready for the ascension to the fourth dimension coming the fall equinox. There will be a trans period time of 3 months approximately for this to occur, and it is the intention that this occurs by the winter solstice. Inik taktiono o tukuhuntaha, tohuntahutaha na kayaye toyono o duyana te ikichiti tene e diaktro yono o tunkuhuyana. Indeed, and with the assistance of the higher councils from the other stars, galactic families, they are monitoring and watching closely with us and overseeing that this is happening. Indeed, they are here to observe, to watch, to assist in any way, form they can through love, frequency, through raising intentions for us here on the planet. Yono o tukunta hayane I kichiti, ti ichiti, ti de ne yono o tukuru. Tukuru da ayakei, da ayakei, tini e de kayono o chuunta hayana. And indeed, I too shall be here assisting and watching over to make sure that everything is moving as per the divine plan. And indeed, it is time for us to take a look within ourselves and in our lives and to find out what is there left for us to release and to let go. For it is a final cleanse, it is a final release of all that no longer serves us. And indeed, this is also true of what is coming forward in what you say your financial world. It is time to release that which is not serving its purpose and being helpful to humanity. nach Diriono o Tukuhunta, Tuhuntuhuka, nach Darene Eki, Chana Doyono o Tuka Ptah. And indeed, I am grateful once again to be able to come forward and to share and express on this day. And indeed, I would be grateful and welcome to come forward again to share at another time, should you have me come and join you. And I shall say thank you. Blessings to you, blessings to your listeners, and namaste.
Namaste, Ptah.
Indeed.
Wow. Wow.
A very nice, enlightening message.
Yes, yes. So Mark, these energy waves are coming through on the 20th. Gaia is finished with her preparations, Ptah said, to make her ascension, and so she's ascending, I gather, from third dimension to fourth dimension, and that process will jump up at the fall equinox and be completed by the winter solstice of 2016.
Yeah, this is what I gathered too. Yes, indeed. And I will also say this too, that I have met today with the Galactics, and we did bring in some codes and frequencies from the Galactic Central Sun to ensure the process is going to go through as planned, and it is coming into the light workers and to those with the higher frequencies at first, and then the others who have a lower frequency, they too will be brought this energy and light and will be brought up to a higher level also, so that all may come forward, perhaps not at the same level or at the same time. However, they will all come forward as long as their soul has agreed to do so. Indeed.
Yes, yes. And so so the light workers that are listening to this show, can you what on a practical level, I mean, will this ascension process mostly happen at a subconscious level? I mean, what will it look like June 22nd after we've had these energy waves coming through? I mean, what will our timeline and our world look like? What will light workers feel? What will those of the lower frequencies be feeling?
Good question. For me, what I gather is, for the light workers, I know for myself too, is I'm constantly feeling a nice buzz, a nice tingle, a joyous feeling, a joyous sensation, a lightness, feeling a release of all the old energies that are no longer serving, which of course means releasing a lot of the physical 3D stuff too, right? And so there's things that we've been attached to, which I've been attached to, which are being released or taken away or pulled away, and it's just to allow and say, oh, okay, I don't need that energy anymore, and let it go, and just make way for new. And I know that there's a lot of people in the spiritual community, there's a lot of light workers and a lot of my friends out there who are going through some difficult times, some troubling times, and yet we all know and understand that this is just the release of old energies. Old things are falling away and falling apart, and so it is to just know that there is going to be beautiful energies bringing new manifestations forward for us. So it's to keep our intentions clean and pure, to be high in our heart with love, and to move forward, to be of service, to assist, to help, and just to have thoughts that bring joy, happiness, peace, and contentment within ourselves. And when we have that within ourselves, of course it radiates out to the others, right, Candy?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this is what I see is coming forward, what I feel is coming forward. And for those who are not as high level, again, there may be some confusion. There may be some kind of feeling lost, feeling what's going on, what's happening in my world. Different thoughts may be coming, and it's not always all roses to say in that regards, because it's very confusing for those who haven't awakened up and who are beginning to awaken up as to what's going on. So I just say for them that they reach out, they talk to friends, they get assistance from other light workers, join groups and communities, and just do the best they can, and we will do the best we can to assist them. Absolutely.
Yes. At some point here, when the Earth and humans have ascended into 5D, which I think will be happening fairly rapidly after we're finished in the 4D. We're all holographic beings, and I don't know. It seems like there's an awful lot that were in the myths and the Bible that were more true than some of us thought in earlier years, and there's even this talk about, well, what about I don't know, what about those who have passed? You know, you talk about releasing some of the stuff that we don't need. Obviously, the people in the fires in Canada, they had to release a lot of things quickly,
absolutely.
And some died. Will there be a reuniting in a way that hadn't happened before with loved ones who passed away? Once we're in.
Well, the good news is that the good news is that we're always able to connect on the higher dimensions. Remember, it's just the body, the hologram, which is dissipating, which is being released. And so as that is released, your soul spark still exists and still moves forward, whether it decides to come back into this earth plane or if it decides to move on to another earth plane. And definitely we do connect. We do have that higher connection as per the law of one. You can think of it this way. Think of it that in each and every cell in your body, everyone is connected. The entire universe is within one cell. And so there's a peace in knowing this, that we're never alone. There's always a connection. And we will always be there to assist the others. Now, this becomes more relevant on the higher dimensions because this is where this comes forward. In this dimension, in the third density, that's been severed. The head and the heart, the intellect and the heart has been separated. So there has also been that separation of the law of one. So this is where we're moving back towards, is the higher frequency, so that we feel that connectedness. The separation disappears as we move into the fifth dimension. And then once again, we are those light beings, those beings of love, with our energetic bodies, with our holographic forms, experiencing life as it's meant to be, full of bliss, love, joy, right? So
right.
This is kind of where we're going. Yeah,
being joyous is a message we often hear from the galactics, that they use our joyous feelings and energy to heal and speed this process along.
Yes.
And what does Ptah and the others tell you that we should be doing more specific? I mean, they've talked about looking within ourselves, and maybe that's enough. I don't know.
Well, no, just briefly here. Looking within ourselves, I've been told that there are Pleiadian healing ships outside of our solar system right now, and they are taking people on board to help them to get through this time in their sleep. So they are being worked on, they are being helped, they are being healed so that they can move forward through these times. And it is the intention of the galactics to bring as many people through this change, this rise and ascension as possible. And so knowing this, there are many beings out there, there are many ships, there's many light workers assisting and helping the masses here on Earth. We've got the Pleiadians, we've got the Andromedans, we've got the Syrians. They're all out there doing their work. And I'm getting this confirmation on a daily basis as I communicate with them regularly and moving forward. And they're also sending, shall we say, troops. They're sending walkers into Earth to assist as well. and this is going on now as we speak as well. And I am also in connection with quite a few walk-ins and assisting in that matter too. So there's a lot of help. We're being watched and guided and assisted, so we can be very grateful and thankful for that. They're certainly looking out for our best interests and are watching over us. That's for sure. I just feel the love and the joy that they share with us, and they're putting their efforts out. And every time I reach out to them, they're there. They take the time to talk and to share, give us their perspectives, and to give guidance and to assist. And that's been working. And you'll probably hear more about that down the road in the future, when I will be connecting with an Andromedan starship, and we'll be bringing forward readings through telepathy from them, giving us their perspective on what's going on. So very exciting times, very, very exciting times, Candy. Indeed.
Oh, it sounds like it. But there's the exciting times, and then there's the little, we wonder, because this is massive change. This is change like our planet has never experienced before.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, we've never experienced this before. We haven't gone this far before. We were getting close to being on that route when we were in Lemuria and Atlantis. However, we did have some interference with some dark energies, and as we all know, we fell. And Egyptian times was the fall of the light, and so we knew we were going into dark times. I knew we were going into dark times back then because I volunteered to carry a big burden of that, and to assist now at this time to come forward to bring it up. And we are definitely being watched because this is all new. This has never happened before here on this planet.
When the veil of mystery began to lift in 1848, and light began to come in, one of the astounding channeled works of the 1800s was a book I wondered if you have heard of, that laid the groundwork for me many decades ago, called Owaspy. Owaspy channel.
I can't say I'm familiar with that. No, I can't say I'm familiar with that. And where did that originate from?
Well, it's also called the UFO Bible. It talks about so many starships from so many realms, and it says that a lot of third-dimensional planets, when we get to this particular place in the universe, go through similar things. But it's a little bit different for us this time. And so, yes, Owaspy, Oahspe. And when I would go to Toronto, I would meet with the Owaspy students there. Well, so you live in a rural area. I was from Los Angeles. I went to live in a rural area after reading Owaspy. You said earlier about getting together in little communities, and so you're saying that the infrastructure could collapse in many areas on the planet, and maybe some collapsing with these energy waves coming through this summer?
No, I'm not saying the infrastructure is going to collapse. They'll never let that happen. There'll be a slow awakening for the people as far as information with what's going on. Of course, we know the media is being controlled in that regards. As far as changes with our day-to-day lives, you mentioned earlier about the changing in the value of the U.S. dollar and what you're getting for it now, right, which is a lot less than what you used to get. So, yes, those things are going to happen. There are going to be changes. There has been some changes in the background with different, shall we say, groups moving forward to bring in the new republic, as you're probably aware of. They're bringing in the new U.S. Treasury note, which you're probably aware of as well. It's been trading for a year overseas in Japan and the Euroclear. And now they're looking at, they probably have all the banks are full of these notes now too, so it's a matter of time before they're going to be released. And we will be making a gradual change over to the gold-backed units. And so this is all coming forward now too. So I don't feel or see that there's going to be that kind of a chaos or hectic shift. Yes, it's always prudent to be stocked up with some necessities, some items. I don't feel that there's any big panic, which is really necessary, because this is, of course, what the dark ones feed off of, is fear, mongering, and panic. So just to be calm, relax, just know we're being looked after, and just carry on day-to-day lives, and just make sure you look after yourself. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Well, I'd like to invite my audience, my live audience, to *6 and come in with any questions that they might have for Mark Sorensen, our interesting guest from Canada via Pleiades. Oh, this is so interesting to actually hear the language of the Pleiadians. This is a first here on the Candy Shop Show, and they going forward with some of this information. Isn't that rather new for you in 2016, or did you start that process in 2007?
For myself, wow. Well, it's been a gradual learning and experience and downloading. I get downloads every day of energy, which of course gets translated into thought patterns and knowingness throughout my days. I don't understand what it is in the moment, but when it's time for me to respond or act or move, then the answers are there. It's like an all-knowingness. I wouldn't say I'm clair-visual, I'm more clair-sentient, just having this knowing as to what to do, where to go, when to do it, and just totally trusting my higher self and my higher selves, Ptah, in guiding me to do what I'm here to do. So, yeah, and of course, I've been guided to meet with different groups, different galactics and federations, and have been working with them as well. So they, too, give guidance and bring messages forward from time to time. So I'm not really thrown off too bad in that regard. Not really surprised too much, except for some days they say, okay, Mark, you got to go to Easter Island next month, so pack your bags and find a way down there. So little things like that happen from time to time, right?
Yes, yes.
Well, Sunny, do you have a comment or some others?
Yes, I've been wanting to ask this question. I wanted to ask if Ptah has taken on an incarnation on this earth. There's a man that I knew here very well in Northern California. He was very much of a protector of Gaia. You know, he's very down to earth for the most part. I was told by another psychic channel that he was Ptah. And I wanted to check in and see if, you know, he left this plane in 2011, March 2011. And is this something you can answer? Yeah, I mean, this has been really on my mind because I was very close to this person, and he told me that he was Ptah. I mean, this other channel told me this, and I'd like to see if you have any information about this. If you'd like me to give his name, I can. I mean,
if you don't mind, if that's okay.
Yeah, the man that I'm speaking of, his name is John Olmsted, or John DeVoe Olmsted. And he was very much like John Muir, and that's what he did. Yeah.
Indeed. Okay, just hold on here, just checking in with the frequency. Yes, indeed. So there is a connection, and it is up to nine bodies, 9 entities where an essence can be into, and so Ptah can be many places at many times. When he leaves one body, he can go into another. Depends on the frequencies at the time and the place. It is like the frequencies of Ptah. Ptah has been within that one Edgar Casey at one time, and when the frequencies left him, he's moved into others. And Ptah has also been with me since my birth, And so therefore it is possible to be several places at once. We do have 9 aspects at all times as a part of our greater soul, which resides on the 12th dimension. And so therefore this is, yes, indeed possible.
And would he, would John have his own soul essence, but Ptah would be with him? Are you saying this, or Ptah, part of Ptah was actually John's soul?
It's a different level, a different dimension, right? So there would be 9 levels below that are 9 different aspects, and so Ptah would have 9 different, let's say, earth bodies. It could be John, could be Bob, could be George, could be Mark, could be so many different people. And then, of course, Ptah has a higher frequency too. And Ptah is one of the 9 of those frequencies from that higher entity, right?
Yeah.
So this is how it's set up in that way, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah, so he could have been 9 other bodies at the same time, or close to the same, if he was with this man that I knew. And this man, we spoke of Gaia a lot, as he was a protector of Gaia, and we did ceremonies and solstice and equinox and things like that. Although he did very much, So this was communicated to me, and that we were very close, and we were actually soulmates, or some soulmate of a sort. And that also Pele, the goddess of, volcano goddess from Hawaii, was very closely, in fact, was Ptah's mate. So,
indeed,
can you comment on that at all?
On the mate aspect, I'm still learning and understanding that as I've been going through my own challenges in that area, and so I do not fully understand that aspect. The only thing I really understand is that within the soul group, the soul grouping, there can be many as a mate being. We have the soul mate and we have the twin flame aspect, right? So the soulmate, as we know, is part of the same soul family. So we could be within the soul family and be with another one, male-female relationship, as soulmates. As twin flames, honestly, I still have my difficulties with that one. I've been having different experiences and lessons, and at this point in time, I don't feel I'm at liberty to share that because I'm not clear, and so I don't wish to put any misinformation out there.
That's very, very fine, and I do thank you. I do, my own understanding is that we can have several soulmates, and I'm not really digging for that type of information. I'm just very interested in who this being was that I knew, and that he passed on, and I was just really interested in that connection. So I really do thank you for commenting on that, sir.
Yes, that's a wonderful confirmation for Sunny. Is there someone else that would like to make a comment or star 6 and come in?
I guess I would. Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Hi. Thank you, Mark, for being with us today. It's very, very interesting. I've been hearing from various sides that we have already kind of been to the 4th dimension, and that's why a lot of clearing has been happening, a lot of disclosures have been happening, and we're about to merge into 5th dimension. And I just heard from you that we are going into 4th dimension. Does this mean that some people are, or why am I hearing 2 different things? Could you probably ask 2-3 questions, if you don't mind? This is the first one.
Okay, no problem. So you have some truth in what you're saying. Yes, some people are already and have moved into the 4th dimension, and some have moved beyond that. And then, of course, they are the masses who are just shifting into the 4th dimension. So this is what we call the Great Awakening, the Great Rise, the 3rd wave coming through. And as this 3rd wave comes through this year, this summer and this fall, and we will shift into the next level. And someone explained it to me very nicely. It's as if you're walking through your door into your house and the screen closes behind you. When you look behind you, everything looks different, feels different. There's a different connection.
Yeah, I can feel it.
I like that analogy.
Yeah, it makes it clear. And then so the second question is, I've been listening to Barbara Marciniak, who's been actually is a Pleiadian energy, and she's been, I mean, the channeler is a she, so I'm saying she, but the energy is not a he or a she. So the energy, Pleiadian energy, was saying that we will be on Earth, we will be like we are in a race for, I don't know, Olympics or something like that. So a lot of difficulties that are coming up, and they are planning on bringing it up, is really to make us experience this experience, because this is our cellular journey, and so we are getting stronger as a soul or awakening or going to a higher level. So it's not to torture us, it's really to have us get an experience about this. And so what's coming up is, and I do believe that the disclosures happen slowly, because it would be too harsh to suddenly dump a lot of stuff in people who are, innocent. They have never even heard of these things. So it's a good thing that's happening slowly. But what she said is that they're planning to bring some sort of diseases that will make people beg to get vaccinations, which is actually poison for us. What do you see? Can you give us your perspective about this kind of hardship that they're planning to bring to us?
Yeah, I feel that too, and I understand it, and I see it and watch it. What they're attempting to do with all the sprays and the foods, and what's being put into the environment, and then of course the passing of all these laws to vaccinate everybody against their consent. So it's very forceful, very harmful in that sense, what we see. And yet it has to be also understood that it's part of our soul contract to experience these different things, to get reference. And if we don't have reference, first-hand reference, this knowledge doesn't go into the Akashic records. And of course, this is all so that the universal consciousness can evolve. So everything is a reference in a sense which goes all the way back to Prime Source Creator. So it's to look at it with discernment and detachment, still with compassion for our fellow human as to what's going on out there. And we need to be strong in the sense and still radiate love from our heart centers, because even the darkest deserve a chance to come into the light and move forward. And so this is our challenge. This is our challenge as individuals. This is our challenge as a collective. How are we going to respond? Where are we going to go with this? And so this is what is unfolding right now as we watch the system fall in that sense, where these tyrants are being taken away and stuff is being dismantled slowly. Does that make any sense for you?
Yes, it does. Because I keep wondering that since so many have been arrested and taken away from, the fourth or fifth dimension, wherever they were, that they're influencing. So who is it that's playing with our lives like this without our knowing? But this actually is the only answer that makes sense, because whatever we are going through, we are here to experience this very thing. Or either we are in service to help others, or we are here to experience it because that's what it's all about, our cellular journey, our awakening into higher dimensions. And so, yes, that does make sense. Thank you for that. And then one other question is, from what I heard before, is that Pleiadians actually went through their awakening with our time 1 million years ago. They went through what we are going through. And so they actually are in 7th dimension. But what I just heard from you is that they're in 12th dimension. So which dimension are Pleiadians then?
Well, we're in several dimensions. The seventh dimension, our soul aspects are in the 12th dimension, and this is on a higher level. So it's like we take our soul essence, almost masculine, feminine, and half of it is taken. And the other half is split into nine beings, as we say. Each 9 being has a hierarchy of different dimensions and levels, and so that's split down through the layers, as I explained about with myself and with the other lady, where I was Mark, and then Ptah, and then Ptah, right? And then it goes from there. So as we go through these different densities, we experience different experiences and lifetimes. And therefore, when we go back to the Pleiades, yes, they do have the higher frequency. They have gone through this change a long time ago. And in fact, I know this because not only have I gone through the change with the Pleiades, I've gone through it with the Syrians and with the Lyrans beforehand, and coming from the galactic central sun originally. And so this has been ongoing. And
you remember all of that? You remember your Lyran and your
the memories are coming back slowly. The languages are, believe it or not, coming back much quicker than the memories. So
that's really interesting. So is it true that in near future, we on Earth will be able to learn various languages that we are currently speaking on Earth in a matter of few hours? Like we can just tap into that. Like if we are in the country or in a location, we just tap into that, and then within few hours we can speak the language fluently. Is this correct? That's one of the things that are coming up for us near future.
Well, I have to say yes to that, because that's what I'm experiencing when I'm working with different people. When I do past life regressions, for example, I worked with a lady who was a Hopi Indian lady, and she started speaking Hopi in our session, and then I responded and spoke back to her in that instant, knowing the language.
So you're already experiencing 5D then?
Oh yes, I'm 60 already myself.
Are you? Wow.
And so in moving through these different timelines, I come and go, and I have memory of all these different lifetimes. I have memory of the different languages, and I live in both vertical time and linear time. And so it's very interesting, shall I say.
Fascinating. Well, I don't want to hog the whole thing, so there may be other people. I have like 10 more million questions, but it will wait for another time.
Well, another time.
Yes.
Another time, perhaps. Thank you for the question.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And Mark, I think that we're all agreed. We would love to see you come back next Wednesday and pick up the conversation on the 15th.
Yeah, well, you know what? I think I can clear my calendar for that, and we can make that arrangement. Yeah, there's so much more to share, of course. We just touched the tip of the iceberg, and I'd love to. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, that is just wonderful. My goodness, we've really we've had a wonderful sharing here, and it's exciting and hopeful, and we're just, as we understand it, financial changes are just transitionary to where we are more like the Galactics in their way that they handle things, almost like, in Star Trek world. But yeah, it's very exciting, and I know you're on Eastern time, and so it's very late for you. But would you like to share any kind of a means that our listening audience here on YouTube could contact you later and see about your healing sessions or anything?
Absolutely, yeah. So just in brief, what I do is quantum holographic programming. So past life regressions, I take people back to their home planet, and just different timelines. I take them into the future, and it's done through guided meditation. I'm not telling you what's going on. You're actually visiting it yourself, so it's quite interesting in that way. And if you break out into a spontaneous language, I can't be responsible for that.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so you can reach me at my email address, which is selfquesthealing@gmail.com, and that's spelled SELFQUEST healing, HEALING, @gmail.com. That's the best place to get me because I like to read the energy as it comes through on the email, and then I'll get back to you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, the Candy Shop Show and the Diamond Network, thank you so very, very much, and we'll look forward to you next Wednesday. Other folks, remember, we're going to be speaking with Chris at noon, the same channel, this Saturday. And folks, have a wonderful week, and be preparing for the summer solstice on June 20th. Good night, Mark. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good night, Candy, and good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good,
good night, everyone. Good night. Thank you. It was great.
Are you looking for healing or a change in your life to help you enjoy it more fully? You might benefit from a galactic energy reading and clearing from Chris Jacobs. Chris will work with you on a soul level to clear unseen negative influences, implants, programs, contracts, and energetic blocks. Chris Jacobs is a gifted energy healer. Contact him today at ChristopherStephenJacobs@gmail.com.